The Me Too campaign has gone viral world over, where women are standing up against their harassers. Now there is a debate around casual sexism. Have we normalized certain languages in our workplaces? Comedian Mallika Dua was trolled because she did not defend herself when Bollywood celebrity Akshay Kumar made a casual comment in a comedy show. Here's that story.
It's not about sexuality, and that's what I think it is. It's not even about sex. I think it's about power.
It's a fight between a Bollywood star and an upcoming comedian. Mallika Dua taking on one of Bollywood's biggest names, Akshay Kumar. Here is what irked her. During the shoot of a show, he casually remarked to her, "Mallika ji, aap bell bajao, main aapko bajata hu." Both Mallika and Akshay were judges at a comedy show, and according to the format of the show, ringing a bell is considered a thumbs up for the performance of an artist. Akshay's comment has sparked an outrage, with Mallika's father, Vinod Dua, fuming over the crass comment. Dua, a senior journalist, wrote a Facebook post questioning Akshay's right to abuse his co-worker. The video clip, interestingly, has been taken off the internet as the show hasn't aired just as yet. Mallika decided to go public and take a stand, but only after her father objected to Akshay's remarks. But in many cases, anonymity is still preferred over public shaming. Recently, a Facebook post has named 58 professors from India's topmost universities as sexual predators. But many argue that anonymous posts naming individuals without any proof damages their reputation unnecessarily. A few days ago, actor Priyanka Chopra had dropped a bombshell by saying that sexual harassment and sexism are very much part of Bollywood. She too hadn't named anyone though.
I think it's about feeling powerful and feeling macho and putting a woman in her place. That will not be tolerated anymore. With this outcry that has happened when it comes to just the cleanup of Hollywood, as to say, that's going to happen everywhere in the world. And with all of us, actually powerful, accomplished, strong women coming together and saying, we are not going to stand for the fact that this has been happening anymore. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder. Hopefully, for the next generation of girls, these men will not have the audacity to do that anymore.
The Me Too campaign, where women narrate their stories of harassment, is surely a welcome step. But can that be said about the Him Too hashtag? It's a debate that will continue for a while.
Has casual sexism become acceptable around us? All those dismissing the point of view of Mallika Dua must realize that if we are not able to see the problem, then there is something seriously wrong, because we have normalized it. Joining us this evening, Shelly Maheshwari Gupta is Mrs. Asia Pacific 2017. She joins me here in my studio. Ishkaran Bhandari is an advocate. Namita Bhandare is a columnist and senior journalist. Ishika Taneja is an actor. She joins me from Mumbai. Ishika, let me begin with you. I know it's in a very poor taste, but don't you think that women have also contributed in not reacting to this kind of language after all casual sexism? Let's not forget, that is also sexism.
It is very true, but I feel that the entire society is to blame, because if somebody speaks up, then she's a victim and she's been victimized for that. If she doesn't speak up, then she is just staying mum and actually initiating and asking them and provoking them to do it again and again. And we and you and everybody, there were so many posts about Me Too that just shows that everybody has been a victim of somebody just ogling at you, or maybe groping you in an inappropriate way, or maybe casual sexism. But how much can we speak? And every day we cannot speak about it. So somewhere down the line, I feel that the entire society is to be blamed, and we have to work together towards this problem.
Namita,
because this problem is very, very huge.
Yes, Namita, what's most presumptuous is that Mallika Dua was trolled for not defending herself against this casual sexism that she faced by Akshay Kumar. That is what is most worrying, that she is the one who is trolled because she faced casual sexism.
That's right. As Ishika said, you speak up and you're trolled, you don't speak up and you're trolled. And frankly, I think Malika Dua is a strong woman. It's her choice when she wants to speak.
She decides her timing.
If she wants to speak, she decides her timing.
Yes.
Who is anyone else to decide for her? She said her piece and that's that.
Yes. Shelly, the entire conversation that is being built around casual sexism.
Yes.
I want to understand, do you think, because you are in this glamour world,
Yes, yes.
Is women's contribution to her workplace constantly undermined with this kind of language, which is very casual in nature but very sexist at the same time?
See, basically, I feel the language, the tone, suppose anybody says to you gorgeous or maybe sexy or whatever it is, how they say it, that's more important. Because it shows the body language. We can understand, as a woman, we can understand the body language and the way that person is staring at us, groping at us, and definitely it's everywhere. From what you say, workplace, it's on the streets. We face it everywhere, so one needs to speak about it.
But Namita, the point that you were making, if we can take it a little forward, I'm trying to understand, have we normalized it?
Of course we have. I mean, everyday sexism is normalized, but I think in the workplace you now have a law, and we've of course had guidelines since 1999, and we have had a law since 2013. But if you take any large case, any big, take the Terry case, take R.K. Pachauri,
Yes.
this should have been a test case for sexual harassment. What is the result? What is, the complainant, the researcher made her complaint in February 2015. He was not asked to leave his job till months later, after the governing council was literally named and shamed. I mean, they had to be named and shamed by, in columns, and there was an outrage. And so Pachauri was then finally asked to reluctantly leave after the governing council put on record their grateful thanks to him. So if you look at high profile cases, Greenpeace India, what happened? Again, media outcry. So belatedly somebody wakes up and says, we're very sorry, we did not recognize your complaint. So what is the message we're giving to women? We're telling them that, look, there's a law that very clearly defines that saying, hey gorgeous, hey beautiful is actually against the law. I mean, there is a very clear defining of sexual harassment, of what is the workplace, of what are the rights available to women, and also what are the punishments for frivolous complaints. There's that also. But what is the reality on the ground? There has been no justice. There has been no justice in such high profile cases. What happens in smaller cases? How then do you expect women to speak up? It's the women who end up losing their jobs. In Terry, what happened? He stayed on, she quit her job. And she's now out of a job. She's out of a job.
But then that is
a
also
lonely battle.
But then then you accept it because you have to pay a price, and that is the reason why women are not naming and shaming. They're just standing and saying that they have been sexually harassed. For example, even Priyanka Chopra, she said that she faced it without naming who it was. So if powerful women do not name and shame, then how do we go forward?
No, but obviously, you have a career. First of all, you may not have hard evidence, so in which case you become liable to a defamation suit. I mean, I may say, for instance, in media, we say, oh, so-and-so editor, but you don't name because you may not have evidence, you may not have proof. So, the onus of proving your case is on the woman. So, socially, you will blame her because you say, oh, but what did she do to provoke this attack? But he was a very nice boss to me, he did not behave badly to me, why did he behave badly with her? So, the spotlight is on the victim, the onus, the burden of proving that she's, her charges are correct is on the woman. If she speaks up, you blame her. If she doesn't speak up, you blame her. And she ends up with, it's a terrible case. We need to relook this law. And by the way, we're talking of the organized sector. We're not talking about 90% of the workforce, which is in the unorganized sector.
Let me get Ishkaran Bhandare. Yes. Let me get Ishkaran Bhandare on this. Ishkaran, the point that is being made by Namita, that there is a need to relook. And this is also coming at a time when a law student has put out a list of 58 professors in various universities across India saying that they are sexual harassers. that anonymity with which she functioned, of course, because there is a retaliation that came from one of the professors who put out another Facebook post saying that, because this particular lady should perhaps name herself, and that anonymity doesn't mean answerability. Do you think that is also a problem here in the entire narrative that is being built around Me Too?
See, that does anybody who lives in the society knows casual sexism exists. That cannot be denied. And we have all seen examples of that, and unfortunate examples of that. Where the problem arises legally, I'm just talking legally, is in India we already have very, very strong women protection laws on sexual cases. In the sense, there are convictions in India on the sole testimony of the victim. So the law in India is already extremely strong compared to some other Western countries also.
Things are unheard.
Now the problem which comes in India is this: how do we balance false accusations versus genuine cases? That, and unfortunate reality is there are cases of false accusations which nobody can deny. Equal reality is that there does exist sexism in the society. Thus it has become a larger societal issue now on how society and how workplaces, and I believe a lot of onus lies on the top management of any workplace. Casual sector is even worse. So a lot of responsibility lies, but legal solutions only. We already have very strong laws, and unfortunately some of them are being already misused also.
Yes.
So it becomes a very fine line to decide on how to operate.
Ishika Taneja, I'm looking at what a list of feminists have put out on Kafila. They are talking about how one or two names of men would who have been already found guilty of sexual harassment by due process are placed on par with unsubstantiated accusations. This is in response to that list of sexual harassers that was put out by that law student. And then they go on to say it worries us that anybody can be named anonymously with lack of answerability. Where there are genuine complaints, there are institutions and procedures which we should utilize. Do you think then?
See, like sir was saying, I believe, the law might be strong.
Yes, Ishika, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to say, my point is the law might be strong. The only problem is, first, the corruption involved in the whole system of actually getting, getting your case through. Because even if I know, like if I have to blame someone who I have been victim of some harassment, I know if I'll go there, first I'll be trolled, second I'll be facing the society till the time the actual result is out, and then you don't know whether the result will be out because there is a lot of corruption, and we cannot just be blindfolded with the fact that that does not exist. And maybe that is one of the reasons why this Me Too campaign was such an outrage, because everybody is boiling from inside. We all want to speak about it, we all feel ashamed of it, that we've been facing it but not speaking about it, but then we are still being anonymous because we know that like she said, that we cannot prove it, we don't have proper proofs. Second, we feel that we'll be victimized.
No, but you have put out a list of 58 professors.
And then third, we don't know
what
when
about genuine complaints then?
Get our result of a case that we actually file in.
What about genuine complaints then?
See this.
Hello?
Yes, Namita.
Between genuine complaints and false
genuine complaints, if the magnitude of the problem is very big, then we have to do it without
basically like,
yes,
then we don't have a choice, because the magnitude of it is so
magnitude is so big. It has to come out with Me Too campaign, because it is a collective catharsis. It is what we have been repressed, whatever has been repressed into us from the childhood. The violence begins in India from the womb itself. So many things for women who are aged, or the mothers that time I'm talking about are most generations which are not being able to speak up. Nowadays girls can speak up, but these repressed things, they have to come out, and Me Too campaign is the collective catharsis, and it is definitely a very good thing, I feel, because once it's a realization, acknowledging what has happened to us,
and then taking a step and breaking the silence, it gives a lot of courage to other women also, and it serves like a role model.
No, but then if we look at anonymity versus naming and shaming, Namita.
Yeah, I think we're confusing a lot of things here. Myra, I want to come in. You know, there is a difference between sexism and sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is clearly defined by the law.
Yes.
Sexism is something we deal with. I'm not saying, I mean, we just, you know, it's deeply ingrained in our society, and not just in our society, it's deeply ingrained all over the world. I mean, this is a global conversation. The Me Too campaign is very different from the anonymous naming and shaming, and I'll come to the anonymous naming and shaming. I have a serious problem with it. Me Too was a sharing on social media platforms where I think we were all surprised. I mean, though we all knew it, but I think maybe some men were also taken aback at how widespread and how prevalent sexual, predatory, abusive behavior was. Right? I'm talking here of, you know, ranging from, you know, sexual harassment to actually outright rape. There was a range of emotion. It was a cathartic thing for a lot of women and men to speak up, saying that we have been victims of sexual assault. Anonymous complaint, I have a problem with it. I can understand where it's coming from. I can understand the rage, because I'm sorry to disagree with our lawyer friend over here when he says there have been convictions. I have not seen any convictions. I can name any St. Stephen's case, Teddy case, Greenpeace India. Where is the conviction? Where is the punishment? Where has the perpetrator? I'm talking of India, sir. I'm talking of India. I'm not talking of, maybe we need to bring in financial
India laws in India is
yes, sir. I'm also talking of the Indian law.
The law is very clear. The woman's testimony is given.
Law is clear.
In India, women's testimony is given a lot of importance, and in fact there are judgments which convict. So in India, on the larger social issue of sexism versus sexual harassment, I agree it's a different debate. But you can't have stronger laws than we have in India on sexual harassment.
Sir, you have a law on paper, but where is the law in action?
Yeah,
आप बताइए
rape cases are not lessening, it's increasing.
Rape cases are overturned. I'm sorry, rape cases. What happened in Mahmood Farooqi case? Higher court judge overturned it and said no.
There are two debates here, what the law is and how the law is being implemented.
I am not on the law, sir.
But there's so many loopholes.
Sir, मेरी आवाज आप सुन लीजिए.
Because the judicial process in India is slow. It's slow in everything.
Judicial process is not slow. You will have a name and shame.
Yes, let us finish first.
You will have a name and shame. You will have a name and shame campaign simply because of the frustration arising from a judicial system that is A, extremely slow, B, overturns earlier convictions. What happened in Jindal school in the rape case? What kind of comments were being made about the victim? What happened in the Farooqi case? What do you expect a victim to feel? You want her to stand up, you want her to be a martyr, you want to crucify her on some cross, you want to blame and shame her, you don't even give her justice. And if you by chance give her justice, there is another court that will come and overturn it. After all, there is a provision, and Mr. Bhandari will confirm that there is a provision in the sexual harassment act
that how to respect personal boundaries and space.
May I respond to this?
Ishkaran, a quick response and then I'll get other panelists.
Men don't know.
See, the thing is, I agree with you completely. Judicial process in India is slow. There are two different things, what the law is and how the law is being implemented. Law is very strong. The implementation that you're talking about, I take your point that it is a slow process in India, that cannot be denied. But it has improved. It is improving, and we have to enforce. We have to ensure.
I'm only challenging you.
You can't get more laws.
I'm only challenging you where you're saying there are many convictions. And I'm asking you to name those convictions. That is my only challenge. I have not seen or heard of any convictions. I have been studying sexual harassment law since it came into place. I have not seen any
just
convictions.
Baba Ram being convicted. We daily have normal cases being convicted.
That is another case. Is that sexual harassment in the workplace? Arey bhaiya, that is rape. That is not sexual harassment in the workplace. Please understand, they are different laws.
That's what I'm saying.
We want to look at casual sexism. Okay, no. Let's go back to casual sexism and this kind of
banter. That's what I'm saying. We are mixing a lot of topics here.
Many are saying that this was a comedy show, so it should be seen as.
I'm very clear. Yeah.
So many are saying that this was a comedy show.
So the parameters of a comedy show would also have to be taken into account. Then there are
No. What is the parameter of a comedy show?
Just saw roast by
But the language was so
Yeah.
What is the parameter of a comedy show?
I am saying it depends on what sort of. Let's see, AIB just did a roast with 2 movie stars there. The parameters of that roast, where actors and actresses were involved, would be very different from an unwilling participant's comedy show. So those parameters of what the show is also.
So basically what you are saying is, Ishkaran, what you are saying is that women know what they are getting into when they are actors or participants in a comedy show. So they should be prepared to listen to this kind of lewd comments. Ishika,
No.
would you respond to Ishkaran, please?
No. I am saying not at all. I started by saying that there exists casual sexism and it has to be tackled.
I think so men and women should know,
if you will allow
and
me,
should be comfortable enough to tell each other when it is out of line, when they've acted out of line. I feel like both men and women should be so comfortable, like they should really tell when they have acted out of line. So why shouldn't we frankly tell? That's what I just want. And what you're saying, the casual sexism and all, why women should be prepared if they are acting or doing a comedy show to listen to all these stupid things about their body or about whatever it is. It's why we should be prepared. Like, I think so the language should be most appropriate, and women should frankly tell a man when he has acted out of line, when he has crossed the limit. That's the main thing.
Which Malika did.
Yes, and it's a very good thing. And that's why Me Too campaign is also the same thing. We are coming out. And why should we be silent? It's like, every time women are said, oh, it's very inappropriate, she has attracted the unwanted behavior because she wears dresses like this. Why on dresses? Or maybe like, just patriarchal society, boys are like boys. We are just listening to all these things. Boys are boys.
Ishika, I'm looking at a number of comments that are coming on my Twitter line, and they are saying that this has to do with, it was a comedy show, so perhaps it should be acceptable.
No way.
Ishika, that is what is normalizing this kind of behavior.
See, when you're getting involved in a comedy show, like he mentioned, roast, either you tell the participants, see, most of the comedy shows are already scripted and they know what they're getting into, and if they are accepting it, then only they'll come on it. So the first point lies whether she knew about this joke being cracked already or she didn't. If she did not, then she has to act upon it, because that was unacceptable, at least to any other woman, if not her. But if it is not already scripted and you just say it out loud without informing her, even if it is a comedy show, there are rules and regulations to it, and there are scripting done beforehand, and we all know what are we getting into. So it is not like you just get into it and you don't get to know about it. But if it is like happens on the go, and it is like something which was inappropriate, maybe then she should have acted upon. So only she would know whether she knew about the script or she wouldn't know about the script.
I think so this type of reporting should be encouraged. I am really telling you, this is an open culture. Women should be encouraged more to report all these things, and so that at least men or any other person should come to know where they have crossed the limit, and this is not acceptable behavior.
Okay, we will talk about this in little more details now. We are slipping into a short break. This remains our top focus. Stay with us. We'll continue with our panelists on this discussion. What exactly is casual sexism, and have we really normalized it? Welcome back. Nearly 58 professors and academicians have been called sexual harassers in a viral Facebook post. The list, floated by a 24-year-old law student Raya Sarkar, consists of names from over 30 universities, colleges and institutes, and these are prestigious colleges and universities across India. Namita Bhandari, I'm coming to you. Putting out this list, yes, it's naming and shaming, but without giving context or explanation, isn't this, how will this really help the Me Too campaign?
Or it's not. I don't think it's related to the Me Too campaign. I think the sequence of events has just been, it started with the revelations of the Harvey Weinstein sexual harassment, where actresses spoke out and named him. See, that's the difference. Over here you have actresses speaking up saying that there is sexual harassment, but not yet reaching the stage where they feel confident enough to name the predators in our film industry. So it started with Harvey Weinstein. Then somebody said, let's do the Me Too campaign, which I believe was already a social media campaign from some years ago. But of course it went viral because a lot of people, men, mainly women, but also some men, wanted to speak up about being sexually abused in the past. And then came this. So I don't think this has anything, I mean, that's the sequence of events. I don't think this has anything to do with the Me Too campaign. I find it a bit worrying for two reasons. One is, of course, and at the risk of being called Savarna and an aging feminist, which is, I believe, what the younger feminists, because we don't want to get, I don't think feminism should be divided.
Yes, we'll take views of New Age feminists also this after you have made your point.
Yes. Absolutely, and I can understand, but I can completely understand the emotional frustration from where this list is coming. You know, that the fact that convictions don't happen, the fact that due process is not followed. You know, you have an ICC, I have here some figures, Ernst & Young and FICCI did a survey recently on sexual harassment on the Workplace Act, and 31% of companies were not even compliant with the act. 36% of them had no ICC. You know, 40% of them had not bothered to train their ICC members. So people don't know. Women don't know what is the law. I mean, we confuse all the time. Lawyers confuse all the time sexual harassment with rape. You know, when you can have this coming from the law, you can imagine what is happening in companies. You know, it's just, you know, maybe because it's a new law, maybe because managements don't want to really understand implementing the law, because very often what happens is that the harasser is actually a male boss in a position of power. So again, coming back to Terry as a classic case,
yes,
Pachauri was this blue-eyed boy who could do no wrong. He was a Nobel Prize winner, and to take him on, I mean, the governing council just was so loath to sack him. I mean, it was,
you know, Ishkaran,
disgraceful.
Yes, you know, Ishkaran, the point that you have made, you know, even if it is anonymous post, there's a lot of contradiction, I mean, criticism that is coming now, that as to why is it right for her to put out this list without making them, you know, by being anonymous. But even if it is an anonymous post, the fact is that it's about naming people. It's about understanding that the wheels of justice perhaps move so slowly that at least putting out these names in the public domain would mean that women will become very careful when they deal with these men.
See, I will answer your earlier question first, where you said, does it help the cause? Me Too, everybody has women members in the family, nobody wants casual sexism. But anonymous, the problem with anonymous is, in any law, you have to face your accuser. How does a person, if his name has been put in it wrongly, or for any extraneous reason, face an anonymous accuser? Everybody in society has right, man or woman. I am only saying that if there is an accusation, you should be able to face your accuser, you should be able to know what the situation was. That is a very basic requirement of any civilized society. I understand why some people are anonymous. It's not an easy call to make. Workplace has workplace issues where a woman complains and could face problems. But equally, being anonymous would not solve any purpose.
You know, the
how would being anonymous?
Raya Sarkar, in her Facebook post, also says
conversation on the topic is very good.
Because she has made an important point here,
but,
and this is perhaps the most practical point, that how it really happens in our society, that some are unwilling to even disclose their names, as the academic community will treat them as a pariah. This is what will happen. That in case if you come out and say that this man has sexually harassed me, then you will lose your job, that you will be at the receiving end, and that you will be pushed against the wall, and that you will become the pariah.
That's what happened, yeah. That actually happens.
And you'll not even get another job, because after you have named it, and whenever you're going to go for the next interview, people will know that you've already named somebody, and nobody wants a troublemaker in there.
So you will be declared a troublemaker.
So the whole thing just goes on and on.
It's a vicious cycle.
Even like, I've
Yes,
heard
but
certain
having said
things
that,
also,
yeah,
like,
that is why-
don't teach your daughter-in-law.
So,
Yes,
Yeah.
Ishika, finish your point and then I'll go to other panelists.
like even as actors, we face so much of, there are a lot of sexual comments being made, but we don't want to speak about it because the problem is everywhere. It's not just one person doing it, but there are so many of them that we're facing. And then you don't want to pinpoint fingers because then nobody will treat you right, because then you will be regarded as a troublemaker. Secondly, you cannot really go to the lawsuit to be, complaining about the casual comments that they make, because those casual comments have actually become casual because it's just an everyday act. And then if you actually start doing it, then you don't have the perfect evidence, and then the society will blame you that why did you even enter this industry when you knew that the industry is such. So now you cannot be you cannot utilize your talent as an actor, which is an art, because it is related to all these problems, and the problems are so deep rooted that there is no way out of it. I am more concerned about what is the solution to this problem, because at last we have to solve it, because we have already seen the magnitude.
Yeah, I
of
just
it.
agree with Ishika.
All right, ladies.
I think there's a very easy solution, and I think it's a very easy solution. You please add financial damages, because speaking up comes at economic cost. As we've discussed, women do not get other jobs because they become labeled as troublemakers. They are forced to leave the workplace. Add the financial damages and companies will fall in line immediately. That's what happens in the West. People, Fanish Murthy and so many out of court settlement for undisclosed amounts of money, and that's when managements also crack the whip and they get serious about sexual harassment. Here you have an ICC that will sit in judgment, but the report is only a recommendation. It cannot be enforced.
All right,
You need to
ladies.
enforce it. So
Ladies,
I also
thanks so
agree
much for
with
joining
you.
us, Shelly Maheshwari Gupta, Ishkaran
I would
Bhandari.
just like to add one more point.
Okay, we have come to the end of this discussion because there is a breaking news that is just coming in. And a day after Tipu Sultan snubbed to BJP, President